Hey friends, I wanted to make you another short video to just tell you a little bit about the class that I'm hoping we can have together. And I'm hoping you'll have lots of ideas too. So this is my idea. Um, World History is a class that is designed to cover what they call modern world history, which is the most recent couple hundred years, in case that was it seems like a lot. Yeah, I know when we think of today, we think of like the last 10 years, but last couple of hundred years. So we'll basically start in 1789 and try to get all the way to today. Um, why 1789? That was the French Revolution. Um, and I have a picture here for you of it's a drawing because they didn't have cameras in 1789 of women on their way to the palace of the King of France to arrest him and possibly worse. Um, and also a picture from just this last week from Belarus where folks are trying to get rid of their dictator. And you can see from the sign feeling some solidarity with people around the world who are also struggling with dictatorship. Um, so what that shows you is that there's kind of a connection usually between everything that's happening today and things that have happened in the past. So rather than try to like spend all our time back here and eventually towards the end of the year get to today, what we will do is mix it up. We'll notice the connections between today and the past all along as we go. And so it's fun time traveling, but it's also very, very relevant. That's what I'm aiming for. In terms of where, we're going to get a chance to travel around the world. This is a world, in our minds anyway, this is a world history class, which means we won't really talk about the United States or what has happened in the United States very much at all, just very, very briefly. What we will do, however, is try to understand as much as we can about things that have happened in South America, in the African continent, in the Asian continent, in the European continent. I invite you to look at the syllabus that I wrote for you. But it has some things you can click through. Don't do that, but if you want to, you can click on the state standards for this class. And the thing that you might notice about them is that they're very focused on Europe and European history. And that is the bias of the state historically. But what I have done over the last 15 years is work really hard to make this a course that is as much about the rest of the world, much more about the rest of the world than it is about Europe. And so everything that we study will have some connection. So just for example, if you're into the world wars, we're going to get to study World War I and World War II, and you'll have a lot of fun with that. But we won't study it just from the point of view of Europe. We will notice how India, how Ethiopia, how Japan, how China, how other places in the world are a part of that interaction that's often overlooked. So that's just a couple of examples. But we'll try to stay out of Europe and stay focused on all different kind of perspectives as much as we can. And something else that I'm thinking about in terms of the design there is that sometimes history is told as a story of oppressors and victims. And it's really important to notice all of the kinds of terrible oppressions that have happened. This is actually a pretty depressing class in that respect. But I have worked really, really hard to make sure that we are not treating nations as victims, that we get a chance to really fully understand the joy and the culture and the strengths and the strategies of all of the parties in an interaction and see how they come to that as full human cultures and not as victims. So that's something we can look at together. Another thing I'm interested in is resistance, that there is, well, let's start from here. Is there systemic oppression everywhere in the world? There is. It's different in different places, but there is everywhere in the world. Something else that unites the world is police brutality. And if you've been thinking about that over the summer, over the last couple of years, this is Black Lives Matter, the Global Edition class, where we can see how anti-Black racism and police brutality are a global phenomenon and where that comes from and how that's built over time. But also what I want to do is talk about resistance and how people have fought against that and are fighting against that, and even get a little technical because we're going to all need to do that work. So how does it, what are some strategies and what works for different people? I put in this picture of um, my folks, my people, are taking down their historic oppressors, King Leopold of Belgium, and in the form of his statues around the world over the summer. And this is a picture of that, and it has a special resonance for me to see that happen. And so, just one of the kinds of resistance. But I think we will have a chance to look at all the different kinds of resistance people are offering, and what the pros and cons of different strategies are, and how we can embrace them. So besides learning the content of world history, we'll also be learning the how to learn. We will be doing a lot of reading and a lot of writing. So we have a textbook. It looks like this. You will get a copy eventually of this 20-year-old textbook. And it's completely useless, but you can do things like press flowers in it, and also it makes a really good door stop to keep a door open. You can use it to try to keep yourself from growing. You can use it to boost yourself up on the seat. Those are all very important uses for a textbook. Otherwise, we won't be using it. What we will do instead is look at all different kinds of literature and different kinds of material that you can read and explore about. And so what we will have is a reader. And what this allows you to do is not have to read on a screen, so that you don't have to spend all your time on a screen, but lots and lots of different articles that we'll look at over the course of the year. Comic books, news things, research, and learn to read a lot of different kinds of things and learn to get a lot of different perspectives. Also, because I'm concerned about y'all and how much time you spend on the screen, and because I want you to learn a little bit of geography, I've made you a coloring book with some things that you can color and some maps that you can color. And when you come pick up your reader in your coloring book, you'll get some pencils to go with that. I'm sure you have some at home, or maybe you have some at home, but this will add to your collection. So what I'm thinking about in terms of reading is how we can get as many different kinds of things to read and get good at reading different kinds of things that are hard and things that are easier for us, and try some new reading strategies. I'm also thinking about how we can learn to write better, and we will focus on writing paragraphs, evidence paragraphs, argumentative paragraphs. So short writing that we'll get a chance to revise. I know you feel like you're really good at writing a paragraph. I'm sure you are. But there are so many places you can go, and so much more effective that you can be. And so we will push the envelope and get better together at that. And by taking on short writing and revising it a lot and trying different things, you'll get a chance to become a really accomplished writer and feel good about how you're doing that. In terms of the structure of our class, we will be meeting twice a week, and we will have a warm-up before class that you can do on your own, and a reflection to do at the end of class, sometimes some other activities. You will also have a reading assignment every week to do on your own, a video lesson to look at in your own time, and a writing assignment at the culmination of the week that pulls together what you have learned from that week. And so I expect that, that sounds like a lot, but I expect that will take you 3 to 4 hours a week, all inclusive. So I'm working really hard not to make this a huge burden on you, and to respect that it's still a pandemic, and that is really difficult. So what you're hopefully going to do is tell me what exactly is difficult for you, and what exactly works for you, so that we can adjust and make it what it needs to be. I wanted to direct you to my website, which is accessible with this bit.ly. Right now, there is a page posted, maybe that's how you got here, that has links to all kinds of stuff about our class and some fun things, and a survey to tell me a little bit about yourself and how you learn best. And you are also welcome to email me, your parents, your family, anybody, your community, welcome to email me at this address anytime. And this is my phone number if you'd prefer to text. And I want to be in touch. I want to understand you and what you need, and make all those adjustments and have all that fun that we can have because of all of who we are as a class. So I'm really looking forward to this year, and I hope that if you have more questions about what we'll cover, you will let me know what those questions are and we can answer them. Talk to you soon.